Like I said, this session is just going to be more of like a Q&A session. We're not going to be going into much detail on a specific pattern or anything. I just want to open the floor to, everybody in this session. If anybody has any questions, it doesn't need to be about any specific pattern. It can be about anything. It can be about the WhatsApp group. It can be about, your trading. How's everybody's trading going? You can be honest. Just ask away any questions that anybody has. If you don't know how something works, a certain tool or a certain instrument, your best day so far. That's good. That's good, Jojo. I'm really happy to hear that. When did you start? When did you start on the platform? How long have you been with? 3 weeks. Wow, that's really good. Really, really good. And how is your trading going? How is everybody's trading going so far? Jojo, I can see you've had your best day so far, which is good. Amazing. What I would say for yourself, Jojo, is, or for everybody on this call, to be honest, is when you're trading, it's perfect. So when you're trading, you need to keep yourself in a good mindset. So trading is, there's a huge percentage for trading is to do with your mentality, your mindset. I would say personally, once you have a platform such as this platform, learn as much as you can. I said this on the call on Sunday, I think it was Sunday evening. Learn as much as you can from all the educators. Learn as much as you can, not from the education, not just the education, that's being brought forward and put on the table, but from, you know, the trades that are being put out. If the trade's hitting stop loss, don't control your emotions first of all, because again, that has a lot to do with trading. Second of all, you need to understand why that trade has hit stop loss. You need to go back to the charts and put into practice what you have learned on the platform. If you just started on the platform, then, start watching the videos, start watching all the videos and take notes on all the videos. Make sure you try and retain as much information as possible. You can't retain everything, which is why you take notes. At the end of the day, when you're trading, when you're doing anything, you're learning anything new in life, you need to be taking notes. So then when you come to put it in practice, you can always refer back to your notes. That's something that I've always done throughout most of my life, is just when I'm learning something new, I'll take loads of notes. And when I put it into practice, I'll always come back to the notes. I might be slow when I'm first doing it, but I'm not professional at the end of the day. Yeah, what I will do, Jojo, is I will post this in the group, the Telegram group, and you can get access to it on the Telegram group. I'll post a link in this chat. When I'm just going to come back to signals as well. So again, this week for me has been a good week as well. The same as Jojo. I don't know about everybody else, but with regards to taking signals, it's good to have signals to fall back on. If you have a busy day, you can't look at the charts. You're super busy. The best time for me, in my opinion, to sort of take these trades, or to at least set the trades, so set buy limits, sell limits, etc., pending orders, would be in the morning. I know everybody has a different sort of time schedule, but if you do wake up quite early, That's sort of like the best time to sort of look at the markets. Okay. When you say you get confused by the currency pairs, what do you mean by what sort of what confuses you?
Is your camera on?
What confuses you? What specifically confuses you about the currency pairs? Another thing to keep in mind as well, the index. I'm not entirely sure what you're trying to get at by index. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by index. So coming back to the signals that are being put out, again, you just need to, you don't need to take every single trade that's put out in the chat. Just take one of the trades or two of the trades. As long as you can manage the trades, then it's fine. If you're taking all of the trades, if you take more than two, in my opinion, it becomes unmanageable. Unless you're really good and you're constantly staring at your phone or your laptop to manage the trades. I wouldn't really take more than two trades. Like today, for example, I put on, or yesterday, I'm just going to have a quick look at what I put on myself. So at the start of the week, I actually put on Euro USD on a buy. This was last week, Wednesday or Thursday, because it came to one of my POIs, which is a point of interest. So I placed a buy, which I closed this morning. And now I've entered on a sell on Euro USD. So I know there was a lot of issue in the chat about, buying and selling in different trades. Just take one or two trades. Don't go crazy on the amount of trades you're taking. If one trade says buy and one trade says sell, depending on your experience, go on to the pair, the currency pair, go into the chart, have a look at it, see, what is going on the chart yourself. Have a look at the chart yourself and have an understanding. Do you think it's a buy or a sell? And then choose out of those two trades which one you think is better. You think to buy or you think to sell? It's very simple because I think Isha might have mentioned this a couple of days ago or a week ago now. Everybody's trading styles are different. If anybody was on the educator session on Sunday, get to know your educators, you would know that each educator has a different style. Isha's is intraday. I believe Dev's is swing trading. Everybody's style is different, right? So whether it's short term, long term, you just heard me say that I closed a buy on the Euro USD and now I'm going to sell. These are short term trades. They're not long term trades. I'm not looking to, swing this trade to many pips. The index, I'm sorry, but I'm not really functioning that well today. When you say index, I'm not entirely sure what you're referring to. If you could take a screenshot of it, I think, is it a tool or here's one piece of advice I could give you regarding, tools and Fibonacci retracement. What I would do is keep it simple. You could take as many tools and as many indicators, you can throw them all at the chart, but this is why I always say to keep your chart clean. Keep your chart very basic, very simple. Use the Fibonacci from time to time if you feel like it would help. Look for certain zones, but you're essentially using these instruments to help, to assist you, okay? You're not basing the trade off of this instrument. You're using it to assist you. So I don't know if many people in the market geometry group, but I posted a screenshot of gold, and it was on a daily time frame, and the Fibonacci was from high to low. I placed the Fibonacci from high to low, and I put a question mark on there because it looked like a certain pattern was forming. It could still form. It could still definitely form. I'm looking at it now as we speak. Even though gold has come down slightly, if it pushes back up, that pattern is more than likely to start forming. So the index, you mean like the DXY, etc.? Personally, I don't really use it that much, but you know, everybody has their different sort of styles. Everybody has their different trading styles. It's good if you use it. It's another sort of like tool. So like, for example, I use the Fibonacci retracement tool and I look for patterns, certain levels. If you're using the DXY, it's the same thing, right? They're all just tools to assist us. If the DXY is going down, you know, understanding what that means with the US dollar, and how it controls the market is good. You know, it's a massive help. So to answer your question, so how to use the DXY, or the index for any pair. So for the DXY, it's essentially showing you the power of the US dollar. So if the DXY is going up, for example, if whatever's paired against the USD, that essentially means that they will come down. And then vice versa, if the index is going down, that means the dollar's losing power, which means that so for example, anything that's paired against the US dollar, so Euro USD, will go up. So I think Isha might have put a bit of information in the Telegram group, stating that news could print negative tomorrow, I think it is. So essentially what that means, if the news prints negative, I'm just trying to find that message. It's a good piece of information. Of course, don't take it as, you know, it's fact, because we don't know what the news is until it comes out, but we can have like a sort of like a guess at what effect it can have. Yeah. Okay, so the US dollar is losing power, right? So essentially what that means is anything paired against the US dollar is going to go up. So Euro USD, for example, because the dollar is losing power. So yeah, perfect. And just in regards to the tools, the indicators, it's always good to know to know how to use them. Of course, you can go crazy and know how to use all of them. I think I did that at one point. I learned how to use the Fibonacci retracement tool. I learned how to use the I forgot the name of it now. There's a lot of tools, is what I'm trying to say, that you can learn from. So what you need to do is you just need to find your style of trading. And when I say your style, I mean what time of the day are you trading? How long can you trade for? Okay. I think that's another thing that we don't really speak about much on this platform, is having a trading plan or a trading journal. A trading journal is very crucial to understanding what your style of trading is, because when you're taking losses, they'll teach you what style of trader you are, because they'll show what time of the day you've made that loss. It will show how long that trade was running for before you made the loss. So if it's a quick sort of loss, is it because of the news? Should you not trade the news? Should you not trade that time of day? Is it because your stop loss was way too close and you're looking at trades that are a long-term trade? So they play out over days or weeks, and you're looking for a trade that that is only a matter of minutes or hours. So, having a trading journal is something that I'm guilty of it as well. If you have a trading journal, it means, in my opinion, it means that you're very serious about your trading and you want to actually become successful at your trading, because that is essentially, you're being transparent with yourself by noting down all of your trades throughout the day, the ones that you lose, the ones that you win, tracking all of your trades. You could be honest with yourself. You could be brutally honest. If you're taking all the trades that are sent in the signals group, or even your own trades, if you're taking more than 3 or 5, then you can identify that with your trading journal and you can set a limit as to how many trades you take. Okay. So one piece of advice with regards to trade management, make sure you're taking a trade journal. What I can do is I can put together a template of a trade journal, and I can post that in the market geometry group, so everybody can sort of get a feel of what they should be noting down and taking notes of. So Jojo, you mentioned the news cost you a lot since you joined. Well, if you had a trading journal, I mean, you don't really need a trading journal to sort of note that. There is a website or an app called MyFXBook. If you download this application, you can actually go onto the calendar and you can see when the news is going to be released. And you can avoid the news. Just don't trade the news whatsoever. You'll probably make more money not trading the news than you will trading it. Yeah. So Jojo, that's definitely something that I went through earlier on in my trading career. I got to a point where I just turned my phone off completely, just so I didn't get that temptation to check my trades, because it's, we're not supposed to be staring at our trades. We just set them and forget them, essentially. Of course, you need to manage your trade and keep up with your trade, and move your stop loss, etc. Take partials. Does anybody have any more questions or any concerns about your trading? One thing that I also want to mention on here is not getting caught in the hype of the WhatsApp groups, because when you're first starting out, it's very dangerous to have that mentality to see constant wins, because trading is not about constantly winning. Trading's about being able to be being able to take your losses and not dwell on your losses too much. So being able to learn from your losses. Trading isn't just about winning, like 100% win rate. Nobody in trading has 100% win rate. The way to be successful at trading, in my opinion, is to learn how to limit your losses. It's like any business. If you just treat it like a business, you have your spend, how much you spend on products. So how much you're investing in a trade, you could put it this way: how much you're investing, whether that be a pound. So you set your stop loss, whether that's a pound or whatever, 10 pips, 30 pips, you calculate that. So that's how much you're investing. and then you look at the profits, how much you could gain, right? So just think of it as a business. You're limiting your losses essentially. Yeah, the best thing to do is to close the trade, Jojo, at that point and just stop trading. That's probably the best thing to do. What if you keep staring at your phone? Yeah. I'm going to go on the charts. Does anybody have a pair that they'd like me to look at? Yeah, I can post the link in a second. Does anybody have a pair? GJ. Okay, let's have a look at GJ. I'm going to turn my camera off just so I can do this. So GJ. So hopefully there's not millions of lines and stuff on this. So you can see here, this yellow highlighted area was a fair value gap, like an imbalance in the market, which got filled here, which is quite good. I actually noted this. I actually drew this up right here a while ago now, and yeah, I didn't see this coming. This was the news essentially that filled it, and it filled it really quickly. So there was no trade to be had at this point because it just got, the news is just too fast to take any trades in. Let's have a look. I'm just going to load up Manara also. This is Euro JPY. This is looking to sell Euro Chef or USD GJ. Oh, we have a GJ right here. That's good. Okay, let's have a look at GJ. That's very interesting. Okay, and that was a 1 hour pattern or 4 hour pattern? That was 4 hours. Let's have a look. 4 hour pattern. There it is. That looks very different. GJ Gartley 4 hour. GJ Gartley. There it is. So this is selling. It's not formed yet. And then this is buying. Turn the bottom off. We don't need the bottom because it's not formed yet. Yeah, that's buying. I'm going to try to get everyone involved in this. Can anybody tell me how we're trending on GJ on the daily? We're on the daily time frame right now. And anybody put in the chat up? Yeah, perfect. That was fast. I wasn't expecting a quick answer. Perfect. So we're on the 4 hour. Right, so we're looking for buys. And this pattern is a buy pattern as well. It's a bearish pattern, which is good. It conforms with our trend, which is really good. All right, so we're looking for entry points. This panel is in the way. I need to... Zoom is really annoying sometimes because the panel gets in the way, the share panel. All right, I got rid of it. Never mind. GJ is your favorite pair, Jojo. How did you discover GJ? Why is GJ? Let me guess, GJ is your favorite pair because it always goes your way. GJ and EJ. Okay, perfect. So the good thing about Monara, it gives us support and resistance zones, which is really good. It really helps quite a lot. You can draw up your own support and resistance zones, but you know, having Monara do it for you, it's really helps quite a lot. Right. So let's have a look. We're gonna have a look at these levels previously. If there's any price action, probably won't let me go too far back. Wow. There's just no price action whatsoever. There's some right there. Is that the price as is now? No. Okay. So you always want to look at the history of the price, the history of the pair, should I say, the price action history, because the history will obviously tell you a lot more. It will tell you the behavior. So if you think of a currency pair as, let's say, I want to give you an analogy. Let's say it is let's say it is a, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something that comes in and out of fashion trends. I was gonna say the Nokia phone, but it don't really make sense to do it this way. Let's just compare it to a Nokia phone. So back in sort of the 90s, I'm pretty sure the Nokia was really popular. So if we was to go back to the 90s to look at the price of one, it was probably quite high. Actually, it would have been low, so people would have been buying, right? So the price action would be quite low. Whereas now, wait, let's call it let's say it's an Apple product. Let's say it's an iPhone because that's more popular. It trends a lot more. So let's say it's an Apple product. An Apple product, like in the 90s, when they first started out, would have been like quite low, the price. So people have been buying and buying and buying and buying and buying and buying and buying, and they've bought the price really high. So how long does it take for an iPhone to come out? Who's got an iPhone in the chat or an Apple product? Does anybody have an Apple product in the chat? An iPhone. Okay, perfect. Jojo has an iPhone. Perfect. Okay. How long does it take Apple to produce a new model? A few months. Wow. That is fast. A year or so. Okay, that's more realistic. A year, right? What do you think happens to, let's say, which model are we on this year? What number is it? Is it like 20 or 30 or something? It must be in its 30s by now. 16. Okay, I went too far. So 16. So that's this year, okay? The 16. What, we're 9 months into the year? What do you think happens to the price of that? When it's released, first of all, it will be quite high. What do you think happens 9 months into the release of this iPhone? Considering in, what's that, 3 months? Yeah, 3 months' time, we're releasing iPhone 17. The price drops, right? So the analogy being, when you're looking at previous price history, just think of it as a trend. Think of it as somebody is physically, the currencies, the economies, the pound and the Japanese yen, the economies are, becoming more powerful or losing power. So the certain time of the year where the Japanese yen might gain power, right? There's certain times of the year where the GBP might gain power. So that's the way I like to look at this. I like to make it something that's realistic as opposed to numbers where there's a dotted line, a green line in the middle of my screen just going up and down, creating patterns. It's, there's people, the economy is moving constantly, and that's what's making this chart move, right? It's money at the end of the day that's being processed in the economy. So back to the trade. So I'm just going to quickly draw up a POI, a good POI. I'm just going to have a look because this is kind of balancing out now, right at this point here. And it looks like it's about to shoot off, but I don't panic when I place trades because I'm fairly chilled with my trades. I don't need to rush into my trades. So can anybody tell me, out of these three zones, so 108, 500, let's call it 108, 500, 1081, let's call it 700. Let's call this 183, 500. Out of these zones, which is the best one to buy at? Because they're both support and resistance zones. Where does everybody think is the best place to buy? The middle one, which is 181, 700. Okay. The lowest is 180, 500. Okay. So again, we can look at previous price action. We look at these lines, right? Most of the price action, I would say personally, most of the price action has happened down at this line here. Aside from this is probably news. It's very a dramatic drop. So 180, 500. I would probably say this is a really good POI zone, like a discounted zone. This is probably like a long-term trade as well. This isn't like an hour trade or 2 hours. It'll probably take a couple of days for this to happen because it is quite far, unless news hits and it just goes crazy. I'm just going to quickly draw this up. So you probably won't understand what I'm doing here, but I'm going to be doing a session in the future which details and outlines how I draw my POIs and why I draw them this way and what to look for in the POI, which is a point of interest. Here, let me go back to 4 hours because that doesn't make sense. Actually, that's perfect. I don't know why it's doing that. Let me just adjust this slightly to here. So what I'm doing here, just to give everyone a little bit of information as to what I'm actually doing, is I always look for the impulsive move before the pattern begins. And then I will take the candle before the impulsive move. So can anybody tell me what impulsive move I'm talking about before the pattern starts? So what impulsive move is happened to start this pattern? Can anybody tell me what impulsive move? Are we going up or down? Are the candles green or red to start this pattern? So they're green, right? So the impulsive move is upward and they're green candles. But what we're looking for is the candle prior, which I think this is what you meant, Jojo. So we're looking for the previous candle, which is the red candle, okay? So this is going to be our POI, point of interest. A lot of people would look at the wicks, the candle wicks as point of interest, but I'm choosing this zone because of the previous price action and because of the support level that Monaro has drawn up for us. And if we go back onto, so 180, so if we go back to, where is it gone? I can't find it now. Anyway, so what we're looking for in regards to price action in this POI is point of interest. If I drop this down from 4 hours to an hour, and then I go back here, back to this point here. So this is actually the candle that we're looking at here. Okay. There's a big gap here, which I don't like. Probably not the best to look at. So I can see two points here, points of interest. So you can see this here, this candle here. Then there's these candles at the bottom here. So I'm going to quickly draw them up again. So there's two zones that I can look at here. I can look at this zone, this candle right here. And I can look at this candle, or these set of candles right here. So I'm just going to do this. So essentially what we're doing here is we're refining the zone. So you would have seen that I've dropped the time frame from 4 hours to 1 hour. So what we're essentially doing there is we're refining the zone. So we're making it so that we're not looking at, 100 pip moves. We're essentially looking at sort of like a lower pip count when we do that in regards to zones and drawing up. I think there's an easier way of doing this. I can just do this, go into settings, and then extend right. Yeah, that helps. Extend right. Perfect. See, when you look at these two zones now, what you want to be looking for with regards to price action. So if we're looking for a buy, we have two zones here. If we're looking for a buy, we want price to sort of break in structure. So with the break in structure, I always struggle with this because the tool that I want is not on here. Trend tool. I'm wondering if I can do it with this tool. So we want price to come down here. It's kind of like not the best tool to do it with. And what we want to happen is, because we're looking for a buy, the type of breaking structure that we want is we want price action to, so we want price action to break low first before it breaks the high. I'm just going to draw it on this here. I'm going to draw it on this because it doesn't have the tool on here that I want to use. So the zone that we're looking at is 181,500. So let's have a look. 181,500. I show you how quick I can draw this up as well on this. So I can draw it up a lot quicker on here because I'm used to using this trading view. So this is the 4 hour. So if I do this, so it's very quick, and then drop it to 1 hour, and I can refine this again. And all I need to do is just a few clicks, and I can refine this straight away. So I can bring it down to, let's do this. Let me zoom in a bit more. So that's a really good candle because of the location. Look at all of the previous price action in this zone. So it's a good indication. Now all we do is we wait for confirmations. So we don't take a trade just because it's in the POI. Doesn't mean anything if it's in the POI. You can't set a buy limit or whatever you want to set there and hope for the best, you have to look at the indicators, right? And the indication being, when I find my tool, there it is. We want price to come down here. We want it to, let's be realistic. It's not going to come down straight away. Let's say it bounces there, comes down here, touches there, right? And this is what we want it to do, okay? So we want it to here. And now at this point, we want the break of low first. So you see this low here that I created? Break the low, break the previous high. And at this point, it's broken this previous high. Now, we don't get in the trade when it breaks the previous high. We wait for the retest. We wait for an entry. So the retest can happen at this previous high, which is the initial break. It can happen at this equal low, okay? I ideally will look for a buy at this point here in the POI because it's sort of like a 50% zone. So then it's broken the low, previous low, it's broken the high, which means a break in structure. We enter on the pullback and then we take the trade. Okay, so again, coming back to risk management, you can set your stop loss accordingly. So what is this POI? This POI is sort of like 30 pips. So you could say just below 30 pips. And then with regards to your TPs, can anybody tell me what TPs we are using for this pattern? Let me find it. Okay. Can anybody tell me what our TPs, what zones are we using, what points are we using for our TPs? Can anybody throw that out there? The next high. So it'll be point C for TP1 and point A will be TP2. Okay. We can use Monara. We can use it. There's nothing wrong in doing that. Monara scans, the history, the price history, and it scans for these zones. So why not use it? So let's go back to Monara. So Monara has 184.1, 185.1 for TP2. Okay, so that's just above point B, and this is below point C. So I personally would use point C and point A, but it's entirely down to yourselves. Again, it comes back to trade management. When someone puts a trade out there, you don't just take the trades, you look at your own analysis first. Perfect. So again, there's no harm in using Monara as well. This is just the strategy that I use. So we were looking at 181,500, which is there, which is just above Monara's stop loss, which is fairly good considering what the zone that we've drawn up is pretty good. It coincides with Monara's values, so stop loss value. So yeah, Monara is just going off of pure market geometry, but what we are doing is we are looking for specific zones of entry. We're not just going purely off of market geometry, and market geometry works. It works. It's quite successful. market geometry. So if you look at this one hit TP2. That's GBP, Swiss franc, and then you've got the Australian dollar against the pound that hit TP2 also and still going. And you got GJ on a Gartley pattern. That was for a sell. That was a week ago. That hit TP2 as well. So, you know, the market geometry works, right? But the reason I've implemented these zones is just to make it a bit easier for myself, just so I can understand the zones a lot better, understand why the market is moving the way it is. And yeah, so that's essentially what I would be looking for in the market. So just bring that back. It is kind of tilted a little bit because I haven't really drawn it up properly, but yeah. Does anybody have any questions or anything before we end the session? No, I don't think anybody has any questions. I appreciate everybody for joining today. Thank you all for being so patient with the session. It was sort of like a Q&A session. I just wanted to get everyone's thoughts and you know, an update on everybody's trading week, how everybody's doing. But next session, hopefully we'll be back to normal. Hopefully we'll be doing back to patterns, the alternate patterns. And yeah, I appreciate you all for joining. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your week and have a good evening, everyone. So take care.